Good morning. Hope you guys doing great. Yep, I am pretty sure you guys do. Well, today's topic is nothing special. It's just that uh, I have been told that let's try to educate people with the content that can help everybody. Not everybody can afford high-end DSLR or high-end mirrorless cameras. So how we can actually help people to take good photos. So I thought, okay, let me do some exercise. And what came into my mind, like, this is Nikon Z5 mirrorless camera, latest, best one of the best, good autofocus, and can do video and can take photos. And then I have this 16-year-old, yes, 16-year-old Nikon D200. So why I choose Nikon D200, which is 10 megapixel against 24 megapixel, crop frame versus full frame, and 1600 ISO maximum, 51200 ISO maximum. So why? And obviously there is a reason, and I'll share with you after coming back from the field testing these two. So let's go out, uh, do some side-by-side comparison, and then I'm going to tell you why I did this and why Nikon D200, why anything else. Alright, chalo ji, shooting start. Okay, so I have D200 with me, alright, and let's see how it goes. To aperture priority, yeah, and I will go to f8, and I'm going to shoot somewhere 16 millimeter. Why 16 millimeter? Because I'm going to compare the I'm going to compare it with C5, which is having 24 to 70. So 24 mm on full frame is equal to 16 mm on crop sensor. So I'll get equal frame. In this way, I'm going to shoot them uh, side by side. I'm going to compare them. And then at the same time, I'm going to also lower down the resolution of Z5. So it's going to be 11 megapixel. So 11 plus 10, same. And this I'm just trying to make both cameras Z5 and D200 the same side by side. So in every technical way. And then we are going to see how much the technology have evolved. Is this D200 still good? To base, which is 100. F8 I'm 500 shutter speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 autofocus points. That's good. Much more broader view. So I'm at 16 mm. Yeah. So in this way, pipe is 2, 3. And I'm at 250. Now I'll go to Z5. I'm going to take a shot. Alright. So now I'm having Z5 and I'm at aperture priority. I'm at f8, same like this, base ISO, and the resolution, the image size is I reduced from 24 megapixel to 13 megapixel. I can't get 11. There is no option. It's 24, 13.6 or 6 megapixel. So I'll go with 13. Let's see. And at 24 mm. So white balance must be auto. Boom. Okay. And I have to use the same focus point where I was shooting. So 1, 2, 3. By the way, the images in this appears to be bright. Why? I feel like it's overexposing. Even though here's ISO 100. I don't know why it's like that. Let's see. Let's see. So I'll go again. I'll go vertical this time, yeah. Let's see. एक अच्छी composition. Yeah. Let's take this shot. All right. That's bicep. Same. 2, 3. Okay. So ये zero exposure पे ले ली तस्वीर. अब क्या करें next? This is another log. 24 mm on crop will be 36 mm. 1, 2, 3. With 36, it should be 36 mm. With Z9, 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. After this log, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. In the color reproduction of the Z5 that's D200. D200 produce much more rich color. Why I'm shooting with this thing? Because it contains the CCD sensor. CCD sensor versus CMOS sensor. Big difference. Big difference. Alright, so let's go out and shoot again and see side by side the comparison. Okay, just wait. Okay, so let's start with D200. So, okay, that's fine. Now I have to change the composition. I find this composition compelling. 1, 2, and 3. And I want to take one stop underexposed shot just to see in the post processing. 1, 2, 3. So it means that the sensor of Z5 gets more light, even though the pixel pitch is the same. D200 and the Z5, the pixel pitch is the same because the Z5 in crop mode gives you the same 10 megapixel. Anyways, let's see. Same megapixel, but still, why? Chalo yaar, let's see. I like this place. I think 17 to 55, which is equivalent to 2470 of the full frame. No exposure comp applied. This is insane. I have to think why the shutter speed is different, even though the aperture is the same for both. This is strange. So I'm at this unknown beach. F8. My shutter speed turned out to be 3200. That's crazy. Okay. Well, let's see. Dust. Let's see in the car. By the way, I like some shots. Okay. Let's take. Picture clarity. 1, 2. Both are taken. Let's go. चलो यार ये rocks का shoot करते हैं. Not the rocks, I mean these swings. So let's shoot these swings and see what composition I'll get. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay. Convincing enough. Let's try this. Happy? Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. Oh, that's good. So let's go. Let's go. You know what? I like these trees. I'm going to shoot these trees just to compare the color reproduction of both Z5 and D200. Let's see. So let's shoot at Z5. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I'll go with 1, 2, 3. Okay. Super. You know, 1, 2, 3. Okay. What's the? It's 28, 30 something. So let's see. So I'm done shooting with these cameras. Oh, it was a hot day. Oh my god. It was really tough. Going out in this hot weather, shooting these two cameras side by side. But somehow I was able to pull the job off, and I'm going to share with you the images side by side. So before I jump into the conclusion and going to share with you why I did this, let's watch the images side by side first, and then we going to talk about the images and everything. Alright, so let's jump into the images. Okay, so now you have seen the images and you can clearly see the difference in the performance. Now, here is the thing. Why I chose this chunky, heavy DSLR Nikon D200, and the very first reason I chose the D200 is it contains the CCD sensor. Before I go further, if you watch the images, I'm sure you were hearing me out what I was saying about the DSLR and why I was trying to, get similar type of images when it comes to resolution, when it comes to the aperture, ISO, shutter speed, performance. Uh, I try to keep the ISO base 100, even the aperture the same. Of course, you see the difference in sharpness is because of the lens. This was I used 12 to 24 f4 on D200 and also 70 to 55 2.8. 70 to 55 is equivalent to 24 to 70 of full frame, which I was using on this, but the aperture was the same, f8, f8 or 5.6 or 5.6 on both cases. Uh, of course, the Z lenses are much sharper, so you would be seeing sharper images from from the Z5. But that's not the point. I was trying to give you the idea that if we want to take good compelling images using an old camera, because not everybody can afford high-end mirrorless cameras or even entry-level mirrorless camera. So, like for example, this camera is around $1,000. What about if you can get a camera body like D200 in less than $100, like $60 or $80? You can get this camera easily. And why I choose D200 is because it contains the CCD sensor. And the CCD sensor produces some remarkable colors which you can't get from the CMOS sensor right out of the gate, right from the camera. And this is what my main purpose of choosing D200. D200, it's so chunky, it's so bulky. Yeah, it's a bulky camera. It's a heavy camera, and it contains only one card slot, unlike Z5, which contains two card slots. This contains only one CF card, two SD card, 10.2 megapixel, 24 megapixel. But wait, I'm going to tell you why I choose these two and compare side by side. The reason is the pixel size of these two cameras are the same. So if I use that Z5 in a crop mode, it's going to give me 10 megapixel, which is exactly like D200. So the pixel size for these two cameras is still the same. So if you use the same lens, put on both these cameras, take the same shot of the same item or same view, zoom 100%, you get equal magnification. So it means that these two camera pixel size is the same. So when the pixel size is the same, so you get by default the performance the same. But even that's not the case. Z5 comes with better signal to noise ratio. That's why it was capturing more bright colors, which caused high shutter speed. This was not showing high shutter speed, and its SNR was old. But still, it's very good camera because of the colors that it able to produce using the CCD sensor. There was a point, and you would have seen, I'm sure you have seen in the video, I was saying that why the shutter count in this is like 250 and this was showing 800 or 1000, even at the base ISO and the same aperture for the same scene. This was showing different shutter speed, this was showing different shutter speed. I don't know why. So that one of the mystery that I still have to resolve, and because if you are shooting at aperture priority, so it means that you are letting camera decide to go whatever the shutter speed is. So, and I was shooting at base ISO 100 and I was shooting at f8. So base ISO 100 f8, this was showing me 1000 shutter speed, and this was showing me 800 shutter speed, and this was showing me 250. So it means that either the metering of these two cameras are different because of the technology was evolved, or the SNR firmware is responsible for it. This is something which I need to discuss because the pixel size of these two cameras is the same. So I'm expecting that the light falling on each pixel of these two cameras is the same. If the pixel size is the same, so why the shutter speed is different? This is something going to I'm going to work on, and I'm going to do maybe some more experiments. But let's see. Uh, I really enjoyed shooting with this D200 because in the daylight, in the normal street or landscape scenario, you put this camera on tripod, shoot up to 400 or 800 or maximum 1000 ISO, and you can get really good results from this camera. Portrait from this camera going to be exceptional because of the CCD sensor. The color that you have seen, I didn't boost the color, so the green is much greener, the red is much, vivid, the oranges are more oranges, the yellow you've seen from this camera is much brighter, unlike the Z5. Even in Z5 I tweaked, in the picture profile I tweaked the contrast, I tweaked the sharpness. So you probably seen Z5 images much more sharper, much more vivid. Of course the lens plays another important character, but when you see the contrast and when you see the shadows, this is going to be show much contrasty, unlike D200, because D200 was more kind of a bringing out the shadow area at the same time at the level of highlights. So you won't be seeing probably the D200 was not much contrasty, which means that the series sensor inside D200 captures everything, even the shadows, which is good. I'm not trying to brag about that whole technology, but the idea of this video is to help you guys, to help you with an idea that if you don't have deep pockets, still you can own D200 like camera, which is bulky, and built like a tank. It can take the beating. You can go for cheaper lenses, like this is 12 to 24 f4 G type, and also use 70 to 55 2.8, which is kind of a still expensive, but it's very very good camera. That camera 17 to 55 2.8 made in Japan. This is 12 to 24 also made in Japan. So, and this camera of course made in Japan. So these camera are made in Japan and they can last long, maybe longer than our lifetime. Maybe I am dead, but this camera is still going to work. So the main idea is there are two reasons I chose to compare D200 with Z5. First idea, CCD sensor, which you have seen already. Second idea is to give you an option so you can go with cheaper cameras and still can take good images. Of course, it doesn't record video. By the way, all the PTS that you have seen so far, I recorded from Z30, and I enjoyed Z30 in recording the BTS. It's a compact camera you can put anywhere and do your BTS stuff, do your shots comparison side by side using two cameras. So it was kind of a productive exercise for me, which I really enjoyed. So that's it. The reason I chose D200 CCD sensor, which I just absolutely love the output from D200. Second is to give you an option, a cheaper option, so you can go and take images. And of course, if it's good composition, good lighting, so nobody is going to notice if it's taken from D200. I'm telling you. By the way, D700 is the big brother of D200. So this 3-digit series is really good in Nikon DSLRs, and man, this camera is freaking tank. It's full professional camera back in 2006. No, 2006. Yep, and this 2022. And this camera still works. It still works. Can you believe that? I'm wondering, after 16 years, will this Z5 is going to work after 16 years? I don't think so. Maybe, maybe not. But of course, the Z5 has its own advantages over D200. Better dynamic range, better autofocus, more autofocus points, 2 card slots, and more resolution, so you can crop more. But if you shoot this Z5 in the DX crop mode, you will end up like D200, same resolution. Yeah, of course, high ISO, better ISO performance, much. This is 1600 maximum ISO. This one can go whopping 51,200, which is like how many stops? One stop, 25,216, 25,600, that's one stop, 12,800, that's two stop, 6,400, that's three stop, 3,200, that's four stop, and 1,600, that's five stops. So this camera performs 5 stops better low light in compared to D200. 5 freaking stop. That's too much. Wow. 5 stops. So it means that I can shoot 5 times more shutter speed for taking same type of shot on Z5 in compared to D200. So it means that, yeah, that's good. So it means that if 8,000, 4,000, that's 1, 2,000, that's 2, 1,000, that's 3, 500, that's 4, 250, that's 5. So if I have to shoot this camera with 250 shutter speed, because of the ISO limitation, I cannot increase the shutter speed more than 250. I can shoot up to 8,000 the same scene using Z5, and I'm going to end up having the same kind of noise level. Wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Not the same kind of noise level, but I presuming, of course, at 51,200 I'll get more noise from Z5 in compared to 1600 on D200, but I can shoot at higher shutter speed, which I can do that on D200. I can shoot up to 8,000 using Z5. So that's the advantage of using 51,200 ISO. That's 5 stops difference. 5. So that's the exercise that I did, and you saw the images, you saw the BTS, how I was doing, why I was doing, and I mentioned in between the, the, the reason why I'm doing this practice. So that's it. I really love this D200, to be very honest. Not because of its cheap CCD sensor. All the space telescopes, not only on Earth but also in outer space, are all made from CCD sensor. Their image capturing silicon chips are all CCD based charge coupled device. The reason is, even though the CMOS sensor consumes less power, and in space you need to have more compact devices which consumes less energy. So CMOS sensor should be used in space, right? The reason there are scientists and researchers not using the CMOS sensor in space is because of the color. CMOS sensor, CCD sensor produce the much more accurate color to the point, because in space you are measuring the distance and the age of those stars and galaxies based on the color which you are getting. What kind of clouds, what kind of element those stars and galaxies are made of. So if it's carbon, phosphorus or sulfur, so that's greenish, and if iron is just blue, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying. So based on the element those stars and galaxies are composed of, they are just measuring based on the color they are receiving. So these CCD sensor inside this type of camera produce much more accurate color, unlike CMOS. So That's why, even though the CMOS sensor is the most power hungry device, that's why we are not using CCD anymore and the cameras, because it consumes too much power. But the primary requirement in space astronomy is the color. So scientists have sacrifices the power hungry feature of CMOS and still of CCD sensor, but still they are using CCD because for them color accuracy is the most important thing. That's why they are still using CCD sensor in space, even though it consumes a lot of power. Regardless, in space you can use solar panel, so power is still not an issue, but still. And they are also using those nuclear reactors which last long for years and years, like James Webb Space Telescope. It has some little nuclear reactor which produce so much energy which runs the telescope up to 10 years or maybe more. So imagine you have a small cell inside your camera which can run for 10 years. For 10 years you don't have to worry about battery, and because it's a CCD sensor, it sucks so much energy. Because in CCD sensor, camera captures all the pixel data at the same time. In CMOS sensor, it scans line, pixel to pixel, lines to line, pixel to pixel. In CCD, it captures everything. That's why you don't have high frames per second in CCD, because capturing and process, it needs more data, more processing power, more RAM. And back in 2006, the technology was not that evolved. That's why. So I'm going to wrap up this video, and I hope you like it. And we'll see you guys in some other stuff with some new topic at Viewgraphy. Till then, take care. Bye.